Hello everyone and welcome to this month's COGG GameDev Meetup. Now, you might be wondering, where is Wesley? Wesley is here, but he's sick, so I'm taking this meetup for him. For those that don't know me, I'm Drift from Roosevelt Studios. We have a lot of things to cover today, starting with... I'm kidding, Wesley is here.
Hey everyone, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I was sick for a second, then I wasn't. We thought we'd mix it up a little bit. And that's actually probably a good way to start. So you guys may know Drift. If you don't know Drift, he's our friend in Poland making a cool Roblox game, which we're going to show here in just a couple of minutes. Thanks for coming by. Yeah. Greatest intro of all time. Nice. Hey Pixel. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Thanks for stopping by. We're very excited to start up our event today. It is September 27th, um, and it's a beautiful day here in Columbus, Ohio. So I hope it is in Poland too. So let me go ahead and go through my spiel. So everybody see me. Hey! Hello, hello! Thanks, Drift, again for the intro. We thought we'd just kind of mix it up a little bit, kind of have a little bit of fun there. So we got a lot to cover today. And let me just double check my mic's going. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, cool. I always kind of get into these things and then I don't have the audio right. I try to change it up and sometimes it mixes things up. Anyways, welcome to the Central Ohio Game Dev Group. This event this month that we do at the last Saturday of the month, sometimes Sundays, is our Game Dev Meetup. This is the event that we've had every single month that we can. So we sometimes these are online and sometimes they're in person. Last month was in person. We were at Boxland Media. Um, this month we couldn't get a location quite yet. We're trying to see what we can do the next couple of months, so we'll keep you posted. We mix them up because we have a variety of different audiences, and our goal is really just to kind of help showcase and promote what you all are working on. Um, so let's go ahead and dive in here because we got a lot to go over today, a lot of good news that comes up, a lot of good presentations. And who was that guy at the beginning? Oh, you're funny. That was you. That was you, Drift. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start my slideshow. It is September 27th here at the Central Ohio Game Dev Group. Back there is a little snapshot of some of our members. A really old one. I'm going to try to update that. We've kind of moved around a bit. Um, and I kind of want to just give everybody a little snapshot for those of you new. And if you are new, say hello in the YouTube chat or check us out. You can always go to thecog.com or email us at info@thecog.com as well. Either of those really kind of help us get to contact you and get to learn more about you. So we currently have about 2,400 members on Meetup. That's kind of where you find our group. So if you want to go to Meetup and you can actually go to meetup.com/thecog, or you can go to thecog.com/events, and that'll take you kind of the same thing. We are kind of working on transitioning some of those methods to where it's only on our website, or mostly only on our website. But we're kind of moving through that. Right now, Meetup or events on our website works fine. Our Discord link is up there, but definitely you're more than welcome to join us. Let me see if I can grab that real quick. I know that was one I didn't get. Let's see if I can get that, and I'll put that in the chat. For those of you who are new, definitely check that out. All right. So that's a little bit about our information. We are about 800 members strong on our Discord page and constantly growing. It was really good to see everybody at GDEX this month and had a really good time with that. We'll kind of do a little shout out there. But I kind of wanted to showcase a little bit about what's coming up in October. So this is the September Game Dev Meetup. We are a collection of game developers who want to help each other make games. So we collaborate with other local groups like Columbus College of Art and Design or CCAD, Columbus State, OSU, and more. There's also sister game dev sites within Ohio like the Cleveland Game Developers, the International Game Developer Association of Cincinnati, or IGDA, and a new one to the team is the Gem City Game Developers. And there's tons more too. If you have a group that you want us to promote around Ohio that you know of, or even outside of Ohio, like we're happy to kind of connect people to those. Because what it comes down to is the more events and networking you can do, the more opportunities you can have, the more ways to be able to make games are available to you. So we're happy to kind of promote and support each other. All our events are online on YouTube live and also in person. So this month coming up, as you will see on our meetup page, is the second Friday, October 10th, is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is our prototype and play. So that's where we just come together and showcase our games. On Discord, the way that works is we have a prototype and play category, which I'll show you here in a sec, that has a listing of all our different people that want to sign up and showcase. And what we do is we go from room to room, channel to channel, showcasing one at a time your games. So it's pretty simple. You can just let me know today or in a couple of days before the event on October 10th, and I'll set up for you a text channel and a voice channel for you to present your game. The text channel is used for notating any like resources if people want to use that, and the voice channel is there for actually streaming your game or your desktop, and or even having anybody else stream their game or desktop so they can showcase what they're working on. The Game Dev Meetup is one that we've always had for this event. That's this event right now. Currently, it's online just for October for now. If we can get an in-person one, we'll let you know. Keep you posted on that. And then that's going to be October 25th, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we also have our community spotlights. So this community spotlights is something new. If you have anything that is game related and you want us to help promote that, either on our meetup or Twitter page or Facebook page, all that good stuff, just email us at theinfo.com or you can reach out to me. I'm Wesley or G4M3R on the COGG Discord, and I'd be happy to kind of help coordinate with you on how we could promote what you're doing, right? That could be you going to a game show, or you playing your new game that got released, or you doing a podcast and you want people to see it when it's released. Let us know. It's pretty open-ended. We used to do our Let's Play series, which is kind of like a deep dive into some gameplay. That was a lot of fun. Those would definitely work in these scenarios. So just let us know how we can spotlight what you're working on that's game related, and we'd be happy to help. Down there at the bottom is a listing of our uh, different social medias, so you feel free to screenshot that or look back in the video if you want to find more on those. But definitely, if you go, let me see if I can go to our website. You'll see all our information here at the top right corner is Meetup, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. This is where you can join our Discord. And then along the top, there's information about our team, code of conduct, contacts. There's the news channel. If you want to promote anything that's news related, you can just click here and add your update news. There's the events channel, which is where you can find all our events coming up. We kind of got a Google Calendar there. This is pretty new. You can also find our meetup page here, so you can kind of go through and find all our events. So this is normally where people go, and you may have found us here, right? Where you can find all of our upcoming events that are kind of being updated. We do update these periodically. We try to update them and keep them solid. Right now at the Game Dev Meetup, these are pretty accurate. This when we try to update them is at the end of the month. But definitely check in before you go, if you're going in person, just to make sure there's nothing that changed or if you need to, see any updates there. And then our resources, just kind of a lot of great helpful resources, photos of our group. And then there's the COG Games channel, which you can add in your locally made games or not locally made games. If you add this basically brings up a Google form page that you can use to fill out. It just basically asks us for a title, short description, a link to your project, and an image. And I help to work with you to make sure you have all that you need. And you'll look down and see quite a few different games. And some of these games we showcased at GDEX. So we try to promote these as best we can. So if you have anything that you want to use, you can do that. And that's a great way to kind of share what you're working on. Um, but yeah, so that's what we have there. And then on our Discord channel, um, you can, when you first join us, you'll go through a couple different questions, but it'll kind of talk to you about our welcome information. You can always find our COGG admins here. You can reach out to us anytime. We're pretty friendly. I'd like to say you can also ping us at the COGG mods, and that will like reach out to all of us, and one of us will help you if you have any questions, anything at all. We're happy to help. You can see our rules here. They're basic. Just really be nice. Be family friendly. We like to try to be, respectful of folks, especially if they have like, kids coming in or someone in high school, like, a safe place for people to promote what they're working on. We usually like to say if your grandma wouldn't like to hear you say it, maybe you shouldn't say so. That being the case, I wanted to kind of do a note that we have had a couple of pings um, that some people have been adding in promotional material to their games and getting blocked by our bots. That is not intentional. So we're working through that. I've since then kind of lessened some of the restrictions. There's kind of like a blanket effect that we're trying to play around with the balance. So if you can't get your game promoted, just ping me directly. We'll figure it out. And apologies for that, as we haven't seen that except for last couple of weeks. So it's something that we're trying to understand better what Discord blocks and doesn't block and considers as spam. That's really what it is. It's not even like foul language or anything. They just consider something spam, and it's kind of like I said, a blanket effect. So we're working through that. So if you have something you're promoting and you're having a hard time, just ping one of us. We're really friendly. We're happy to kind of help where we can. Um, so down here you'll see a couple different categories in Discord on the left side. These categories are kind of these open-ended sections, and I'll actually see if I can mark all as red so I can show you how to collapse it. So you'll see that we have announcements periodically. So when we're going live, this is probably what you saw. We'll have this here. If you have issues where you're like, oh man, I don't want to get pinged all the time, because we do at here or at everyone sometimes, all you have to do is you can right click on this and say mute channel. And if you don't want to get pinged all the time, that's one easy way to turn it off. So um, definitely, if you don't want to get pinged all the time, that's an easy way to do it. We obviously encourage you to keep it on so you can kind of keep updated to the latest and greatest information. But if for some reason you don't want to, that's an easy way to do it. I know some people had questions on that. And when we have our YouTube channels, whether they're in person or online, they get pinged here, so you can see our past YouTube events right here for your viewing pleasure. You can then, once you join us, you can go to the Introduce Yourself channel. There's a lot of really great people showcasing a lot of content here. We appreciate everybody talking about themselves. It helps us understand where you're coming from, and maybe there's ways that we can help you. Um, if you're working on games, the Making Games category is great for specific engine questions. So we have Unreal, Unity, Godot, and other engines too. A lot of people have some really great other engines that are kind of get posted here. So if you have questions or just want to comment on something coming out, this is a great place to start. And then we have our community section, and that's mostly a big one that most people will use quite a lot. You can start by talking in the general channel. There's a lot of really great information here. If you have a question, we have what's called a forum channel. Um, and this is where you can kind of add a post if you have a specific question. So people kind of post here periodically, like about a specific game question. You can also add, you could start here in general and ask a question, but if you want more exposure, this is probably a better place to do it. And you can tag them here by whatever it is. It could be code, design, performance, mix, all that good stuff. There's like quite a few different things you can add there. Um, you can share your games. This is a lot like our games channel here on our website. But in here, we get a lot of periodical like updates, and definitely when I can, I try to showcase as many of these as I can. Today we have a pretty packed event, so I might have you have specific questions about like how to start a business or how to get your game out there, or just kind of just questions about legal things. We're by no means legal representation, but at least maybe we can point you in the right direction. So definitely kind of start here if you have something, and we can hopefully help you out. Art is a great place if you have like concept art. Raul, this is great. I love this art of Silk Song. So great job there. It's a lot of really cool stuff. Someone makes hard copies of the game, which is really cool, just kind of for fun. By no means are they related or in collaboration of, but Sir Randall does a lot of really cool box art. So yeah, and I love this new school quest. This was awesome. Great job on that Ironhide. So definitely check this out from time to time. We got sound, so if you got music or sound effects or just some cool ideas related to sound, you can add them here. Get some feedback on your own work. There's work in progress, which is kind of a catch-all for all work in progress stuff. So if you have stuff that you want to showcase, you can kind of start here. Hardware is great for controllers. Phil, you do some amazing stuff all the time, just collaborating like an Xbox controller with kind of this little gun that you found and kind of zip tied it together. That's amazing. Um, Job and collaboration is great. I'm working to make this a forum channel soon so that we can kind of separate some of those ideas. But the gist of this is if you are looking for work, you could post here your background and what you're kind of looking for, maybe. And then people could kind of check in here from time to time. If you're providing work, free or paid or whatnot, just make sure you're very clear about what your promotion is for. You can post that here. We actually had a really great help for GDEX to get some volunteers in. And so this was a great way to kind of get some last minute volunteers in for the event for some dropouts that we had for specific reasons. But yeah, this is a great place to start, and eventually I'm gonna make it kind of like one of these like forum sections. So keep you posted on that. But yeah, so we have shameless plugs for everything else. We do try to say maybe try to keep it game related. Just kind of some updates. Viv did some like cool updates to GDEX, the Game Expo that we had early this month. Thank you for that. I was really excited to see you. I'm so glad you made it out. And I just kind of post stuff from time to time, like they have the new president of Nintendo's coming out. Who is it? Devon Pritchard, excuse me, is coming in later this year to replace the current president. So that's exciting news. Yeah, lots of good stuff. So if you have stuff you want to promote. We ask that it's game related if you can, but otherwise, if you have something you want to promote, even on behalf of somebody else, that's okay to promote here. There's a random channel, of course. There's external events, so like when we had GDEX, we had a lot of good stuff. Tom, our other admin, posts the Sandbox, which is a great place for professionals showcasing and talking on a one-on-one fireside chat with another one of our colleagues, Chris Volpe. So a great place to kind of see some of those updates there. So yeah, you can post there. There's a game jam that's coming up that we are soon going to do more of next year. But Global Game Jam has I spelled jam wrong. Uh, they have an event coming up called Next Great IP Game Jam. So that's in a nutshell. If you're the ages 15 through 35, you can join this game jam, and the idea is to have a really spellbinding idea for a game, and it's potentially IP or intellectual property material. So something that you think could sell really well, like the idea could sell really well. This would be a game jam for you. And even if you don't think so, I mean, game jams are a great place to learn how to make games. And even if you don't have game experience, I would encourage you to join. If one of the things that we kind of let people know is that there's a website called itch.io, um, and they have game jams as well. So definitely check that out. Oh, there's a lag. Lag? Seems like the feed just cut out for a sec. Let me double check. Are we back? Oh, yes. So looking at the website, the age group is for a younger audience. Um, So it's ages 15 through 35. Let me know if my stream's still okay. I'm looking at my phone. Seems like it's okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. There might have been a lull in the internet connection and bandwidth. So back up for me. Okay, good. Sorry, I'm checking on the chats. Okay, cool. So yes, so we have this game jam. If you have other jams like Drift, you had a game jam that you did. Wonder how that went. Um, and then we are going to be working to do an announcement for the Global Game Jam event happening. I think it's usually late February or late January, early February when we do Global Game Jam, which is a game jam done all around the world with the same theme. We usually do that in person. Um, and so when we know more information about that, we'll let you know. I think they're going to announce it sometime in November. But if I know more earlier, I'll let you know. But that's just something to keep in mind. Um, and then game time. So if you want to play a game with someone or have someone test your game, this is a great place to go. I know Robert's got a great game that he's always excited to have people try out and let them know. So definitely check that out if you do see some movement here. We'd be happy to help promote that best we can. And then pets. I like pets. I like seeing your pets. Please give us pets. There's voice channels for your use, so if you have a general question, you can just have someone pop in there, peer support, external events, etc. And then when we do our prototype and play, I've got to clear these out because these I think were from actually a couple months ago. Um, this is where you'll see like when we do prototype and play, we'll kind of start here, and then we'll go room to room, right? Kind of going down. And then each of these text channels, these hashtags channels, will have a pairing voice channel. So then when we go through, you can put all your information in here, and then you can stream on these channels. So, cool. All right. So I think that's it for going over the Discord and going over our group information. And yeah, thanks for everybody that came out to GDEX. We're very excited. We think it went amazing this year. We were teamed up with Korg's Con, which is like a retro game swap expo. I think that went great. We had a lot of arcades, amazing talks, cool dance music party on Saturday night. I think it was a blast this year. So thanks for everybody coming out. We really enjoy helping with that where we can, and then also thanks all the folks to GDEX for hosting that. And if you want to help support them, they are always looking to promote and land a slot that we can reserve for next year at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. You can help by posting in the fundraiser. That helps to get us the funds to pay off what we've paid this year for that, and then help to support what we're doing next year. So cool. Oh, and just as a reminder, if you want to see the game jam that we did, I was kind of part of that with Tom. You can always look under Experience and Game Jam, and that'll take you to all the games information that you can find. There's an itch.io site that you can go to, and you can play all the games right here in the submission section. So definitely try those out. There's a lot of fun stuff. And congratulations to Zen Garden for being the most rated uh, game of the session. There's a lot of really great stuff in here, so don't just play Zen Garden, but definitely it was amazing stuff. And Robert, I love your believe it or not, Gary gets off his lazy butt and does something useful for once in a while. Gosh darn life was a great title. So yeah, just look through here. There's a lot of fun. Anyways, I could go on and on and on. Let's go ahead and get to some of the good stuff. So let me go ahead and showcase um, our last slide. So we had our COGG team announcements, news, local events, COGG games, and presenters is coming up. So the first presentation, we have Drift and Pixel might be on there at some point too, but Pixel definitely helps to support Drift in a lot of the Roblox game maps. A lot of games couldn't run because of the build problems. Yeah, I'm just checking the chat. GDEX was so much fun. Yes, thanks so much for coming out, Viv. GDEX Game Jam was something I definitely want to participate next year. There's so much happening in GDEX, it's hard to see it all. Yes, I know. That does happen. Um, so we have Truckers of Poland coming up first, and then we have a custom big board game from Lucas and Game Drop Gaming, and he's going to be in there for the Legend of a Magic Dungeon and the Showcase Your Talent Marathon. So there's a really cool showcasing there. And then last but not least, oh, I put in custom keyboards. Sorry about that. That is incorrect. Let me change that live. Boop, boop. You saw nothing. All right, Jarrah Franklin's going to be doing Qualdron, a demo and retrospective, which should be great. So what we'll do is we'll go through these 3 presentations today, and then afterwards we'll jump into the Discord in the general voice channel. So again, if you're in our Discord, that's going to be down here in the general channel. That's where we'll show and talk to each other just for a little bit. You can come and go as you please. You can not show up at all. It doesn't matter. But that's a great way that after this call, after this event, you can kind of network with our group. And then the last thing is, what's the question of the month? So in our chat later after this show, my question, since Halloween's coming up, is what haunts your dreams? And would these make good game designs, right? So if you have nightmares or you just have spooky premonitions of things, what do you think would make game good designs out of those? So if you have anything that you thought would be cool, like, um, I don't know, flying through lava, I don't know, whatever your nightmare is, let us know what you think. Um, cool. All right, so we won't be able to present. Yeah, that's okay. Uh, so what we'll go ahead and do is we'll start off with Truckers Are Pulling. This is a Roblox game, and I'll go ahead and switch on over. Let me see. All right. Hold, please. There we go. Do. And how's everybody doing? If you're new to the chat, let us know. Yeah, Viv, I'm glad you met with Lucas at GDEX. Yeah, lots of great friends made. First off, Drift, you sent me a new thing. So let me go ahead and grab that. Make sure I have that there. Okay. I'm going to download this real quick. There. So we have Truckers of Poland is a new game in Roblox that Drift has made. And let me see if I can do this right. Boop, boop, boop. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Hold on. Okay. You guys see that okay? All right. So this is just kind of a prelude to... oh, did you send me the intro? Is that ready? Or did you? Oh, you did. Oh, okay. How do I join? Okay, I have it playing. How do I join the general chat and watch the stream? Oh, I see. Oh, sorry. I got someone pinging me. Give me one moment. There you go. All right. So, Drift's game on Roblox is actually recreating a bit of this part of Poland. So, we're going to start up here today. And we're kind of going to move around the track and show some of the new features. Anything that is blue and green is something that's already in creation, and anything gray is a work in progress that's soon to come. And some of these are in different aspects of work in progress too, right? So we'll kind of showcase a little bit of that. And let me see if I've got Drift your intro. Yeah, did you have something, Drift, that you sent to me? I don't know if I got under chat. Under chat. Okay, so is it better? I have no idea. So when I check this the stream, it becomes better. So, sorry about that, guys. I don't know why that happens. I've tested a lot of things. I gotta kind of figure it out. Okay. So yeah, let me check the presenter chat so I can like get the. Yeah, Drift, I see your image, but I don't see. Can you just repost it in there? Because I see the image, or you're talking about this, right? You're not talking about a video. Let me get that up. This is our work in progress. So I think maybe that's what you're referring to. I think you said that you're working on the video. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so this is our work in progress. So you can kind of see the difference, right? So the map here and the map here, and kind of where we're going to actually start, I think if I remember right, up in here. And kind of move around the map, kind of do a little loop, and then come back. So, cool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So now you're all waiting to see this. Oh, hold on. Boop. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to me so I can load this up. All right. Everybody see that okay? All right. And then let me know if have any audio issues or streaming issues. Oh. Oh, okay. I see it now. Okay. Hold on, let me see if I can play. So you do have a video. We're doing this live, guys. Hold on.
Das ist Polen.
Znak zakazu, jedziesz, Asia tam
I tego znaku w ogóle nie zauważyłam.
Das ist Polen, Polen.
Bo już mnie zaro krew zal. Nie tu nie wolno ci jechać, tu w lewo. No, się znajdzie jeszcze mądrala, nie widzi, że tu jest blondynka i Elka, to on będzie mi TikTok.
So we fell off. That's great. I love that. Was that a recording from when we were just doing our test drive? That's hilarious. All right. So this is the game. Let's see if we can get back. Ah, here we go. All right. So if you're not familiar with Roblox, it's kind of like a big, kind of almost like, you know, sandbox that you can create stuff into. You got your own character. This is the starting point. That's the famous van that we had. So this is new. This is a little different than the other game that Drift and Pixel had been making. So we had another one that was based off of like a bus tour. This is more about just truckers and different opportunities to kind of use trucking to kind of move around a space. So we got this new van and a couple new aspects to kind of look at. And I appreciate this being automatic because I remember trying to do the shift drift or stick shift drive and having a hard time getting that to work. But yeah, let's kind of move through our journey. So you can kind of see that it's still some work in progress, and you've probably seen some of these before. There's always like something to improve on, something to rebuild. I know Drish was telling me that the road building in this especially has been a lot more enjoyable in a sense and kind of better designs because of the ability to. That was like another like factory that we passed. Let's see if we can find the name. Because he's learned a lot since then because of his first game. Agrolandia. Aha. So, so that's kind of good to see that there's been a lot more improvements. The trees, I think, are different and new, though I think he's probably updated the other one too. That's like a bus stop station. And again, I appreciate the use of these X's. That kind of keeps me on track because I get lost a lot. Because the place is so big, right? Like it's actually a large part, you know, of the city of Poland, right? So it's a lot to explore. There's some new models that they're starting to put in. Those are just placeholders, but those are some different parts of transportation that you can put in that he's starting to play around with. There's the dance party room that we love so much in the other game. That's still back, and so that's been great. There's you'll start to notice there's a lot of these roundabouts. So if you're kind of curious, like I say, if you're from Ohio to Poland, there's a lot of roundabouts in Poland, at least in this section. There's a gas station. There's a new feature that they have that has this heads-up display of when you go by them, what they're called. So this is Square M gas station. Some more work in progress. So this is kind of the oh no. Okay. I think it might take a while for me to go back. I totally flubbed that. Though I will say that there are ramps to get back up. I don't know if it's faster. Nope. Yeah, I might have to restart. Hold, please. I'm gonna actually leave so I can get my truck back. Nope, that's not the one. That's not the one. Sorry, guys. I don't know what that was. I had it. Then something else popped up. There it is. I don't know what that was. The ramp was a little further. Yeah, I guess I could have done that. I wasn't really sure. Oh, and something else that's kind of neat of note. So you may have seen the map that we showed in the beginning of this presentation. That map is just kind of a screenshot of something they grabbed from, like, I think just Google Maps or whatever. And that is actually the floor of this level, and they're just kind of building roads right on top of that to kind of make it, you know, more accurate or whatnot. So, but eventually, once they go through this, they'll have guardrails and stuff that will keep you into play, and you won't fall off. Something else of note with the transportation is there's vehicles that he eventually wants to, you know, have as like NPCs that drive around. So that might be something in the future you might see, is that there might be some traffic that can kind of drive with you, so you can see cars driving on the road. And you'll actually have to drive like as if you're with traffic. So we'll get back to where we were. Here's a police car. That's my favorite. Oh, I need to slow down or it's going to happen again. Alright. Do the roundabout. I don't know how I got off track. Okay. And I am using a keyboard, so maybe this is more of like a controller would be better. I like the little cow animal signs. The signs are great. So we're basically trying a couple things out, right? So there's a lot of like different buildings they're trying to display. There's the bus. I think that's one of the buses that they had in the other game. Ladybug gas station. I know Drift was talking about stylizing that gas station. Maybe it's like got a ladybug on it. We'll see what they come up with. So they're trying to make the different locations unique. I ran a stoplight. I'm like reading you gumdrop. So there's no sections like this in Mario Kart. You know, where people are driving in the opposite direction on both lanes of the road. Yeah, that would be kind of fun. Oh, I'd be going in the wrong lane, wouldn't I? Okay, that's correct. Yep. All right, here we go. Yeah, I really like the skybox in this too. It's, I think, a big improvement. So we're gonna get off the high. Oh, hi. We're getting on the main highway. Yeah, this is great. That's cool. So now we're getting into some of the newer stuff, and you'll notice that there's these little sideburns that are kind of fully connected. I remember talking to Drift a while ago that he kind of lays those out, and then once he finalizes them, he'll have a way to kind of connect them together so they're more seamless. To my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, Drift, but they're kind of cut up a little bit as kind of like a placeholder, and then once they're confirmed, he'll stitch them together. Whoa! I don't want to get caught in there. Oh my goodness, it's touchy. Yeah, like I said, I think next time maybe I'll try to get a controller, because I'm just using WASD. Oh, oh no! Oh no! There we go. Good thing there's a ramp. Yay. Much appreciated. Whoa! You see that drift? Hold on. I was doing donuts in the West Pole. Let's see if I can actually do it this time. I'm just more careful. Alright, so this is the overpass. So there's one roundabout. Oh, I had to slow down for that one. Oh my goodness, so tight. Alright, so that was 2 roundabouts. This makes 3. Then we get to see the sunset. So I was talking about the skybox. So the skybox is a little bit more updated than the other one, unless he's integrated the other one in that version. But I like this one too, because you kind of see there's like, that's light from the moon. It's kind of fun to see. We got some sky, some street lamps. There's the moon. And there's there's a couple things that they're working on, some food places to stop by. So those will be built. Kind of get the real trucker experience in some instances where you have places you can kind of eat I mean, I guess you could do anything. It could be just, could be like road trip, right? All right. And another roundabout. Oh! Hit the burn. I promise you I'm better in real life than driving. Way better. Hold on, hold on. Oh, I think I'm stuck on something. Oh, we got it, we got it. Maybe? Spoke too soon? Okay, I'm gonna go real fast so you can get whatever I'm on top of. Oh, it's an X. Oh, I didn't see it from the other side. Okay, that explains a lot. Alright, not that I meant to go that way, but. Okay, I'm gonna go this way. It's a fun, spooky, floaty house. Very good. It's a Halloween season. And then I think we're back. Yay! Alright. We're back to where we started. So that's kind of the demo of our first iteration for this month. So, cool. Alright. I'm sorry I haven't been keeping up with the chat. Let me look through. I did read it correctly. Oh, nice. The ramp was a little further, a little disappointed. Yeah, so yeah, road prefabs first, and then I fill the gaps between. Good. Oh, there's the X. Yeah, that's not how you're supposed to drive. No wonder I lost my license. I forgot. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, yeah. So that's Truckers of Poland, and keep an eye out. We try to do updates for our game dev meetups where we can, and definitely Drift does a lot of updates in our Discord. So keep an eye on that, and if you have any questions or comments, let him know in the chat, or also let us know in the Discord channel. So feel free to kind of see that from time to time. And thanks for presenting. All right, let me go ahead and line up the next presentation. So this is where we have our Hold Please music. I'll leave this. And I'll see if we can get our next lineup. And I'll see, Lucas, if you're ready, feel free to join. And I'm going to double check that everything is working on your end. So I know it took a sec to kind of know where we're at. I will ping you. Are you jumped in? Oh, perfect. Yeah. All right.
Hold on, let me okay, I got it on mute.
I got you. Yeah, I can definitely hear you loud and clear. I think you're good on that accord, which is good. So, Lucas has been with us for a while, and he's got a really cool project that he's working on. I'll let him talk about it a little bit. And I know you were at our last event. We went to Boxland Media, so this is one of the times we actually got to see more of the game. You were definitely at GDEX. I know, Viv, you were talking about seeing Lucas, so that was great. And so we got some updates that I'll let him talk about that. But yeah, feel free, Lucas, whenever you're ready, you can do a little bit of a intro about yourself, a little bit what you're working on and what we're going to showcase today, and then I'll get ready the presentation material. So
Okay, yeah, great. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this.
Sure.
Oh, okay. You can still hear me. Okay, great.
Yep.
Because I'm watching it live and I'm not seeing my face, my thing light up. So basically, what I did was something kind of to be a little bit lazy, I guess you could say, is I recorded an hour and 16-minute long video because I wanted to get a good vision of what it is that I'm trying to create here out of that. And so what we're going to be doing is today we're going to be looking at the first and the final section of that video. And so the first section we're going to take a look at is just going to go over just a little bit about what I've created with the Legend of the Magic Dungeon. There's no gameplay video with that or anything. I've already recorded that on my channel, which is Gumdrop Gaming J6U, I believe. If you check that out on YouTube, you can find it. I've got the whole video up there, and I've got it broken down into different sections on that playlist.
Yeah.
And so the first, we're just talking a little bit about what the board game The Legend of Magic Dungeon is. And then we're going to jump into the Showcase Your Talents marathon in the next video, which is kind of like the ending to it. And then the middle sections will go over the next couple of online meetings that we do, just to showcase that a little bit more. And that we're going beyond just making the video games as far as Gumdrop Gaming goes. And so just a few things for you guys to keep in mind. It's not that I've done more research or more difficult research than other people have done, but I've probably done deeper research into the things that I'm moving forward with in my company. And so it's there's just a lot of things that can be a little bit difficult to explain, and it kind of comes across in my videos of, hey, this is kind of difficult to explain, because when you're dealing with things that have the nature of the law of attraction or quantum physics involved in some way or another, it's difficult to grasp those concepts at first. So just try and make things as relatable as possible. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to shut up now, and we're going to take a look at the first video.
Cool. And just for those in the chat, I went ahead and sent over the YouTube video that we're going to see first. I'll send the second one over here in a bit. And I also added in your YouTube channel. So
yeah, and so I am going to be watching this on YouTube. So if you want to, while we're watching this, you have a question, go ahead and pop it in chat.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and answer there instead of trying to voice chat me and then we'll end up getting feedback. We can voice chat afterwards.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll start up the video then.
Guys, I'm the Gumdrop Gamer, and you are watching the Gumdrop Gaming channel. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We are doing a presentation, and so please forgive me. This is kind of put together a little bit hastily, but it was thought out a lot longer than it took me to put it in everything. And so to start off with, Gumdrop Gaming, the vision. So I want you guys to get an idea of what the vision for this company is, because it's more than just another gaming company. By the way, this is also going to be split into, I haven't decided completely yet because I don't know what the length of it's going to be, but probably 2 to 3 different videos when I put it up on YouTube. And then we'll have just like one full one for the presentation that I'm going to play off. So we'll see how all that comes together. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started on this. So the purpose of the presentation is to show off what the Legend of the Magic Dungeon is, give you a bit of an idea of what it will be in the future. To show you what's beyond gaming and why you should join the team. To show you what you're missing and the easiest ways to connect with people. This will also show you how you, yes you, show you, just how easy it can be to grow your company. Then this is also to collaborate with other companies and people for accelerated growth. So, doing a quick overview, we're going to go over what the Legend of the Magic Dungeon is. I'll share you some of my links. We'll talk about what Gumdrop Gaming is. We'll talk about connections, where your focus is, how you are seen. We'll talk about the creation of 2 new charities. I briefly kind of mentioned a little bit about the law of attraction and similar concepts. Those aren't for here. We're going, that's basically what that is if you want to talk to me about some of that stuff, you can do it in the links that I give you, send me an email or something. Money and is the next subject, and I'm asking you, hey, steal my ideas. Then we're going to talk about direct methods of making money, foundations, putting those together, Etsy, AI, how important that is, and how you can make $500 a day, splitting profits, and 3D printing, and who can join the team, like who I'm looking for. And then we're going to be talking about showcasing your talents and online marathon, and just hold still for that. That's at the end here. So, the Legend of Dungeon, the Magic Dungeon. So, what it is. The Legend of the Magic Dungeon is an RPG. It's a collectathon. So you've got cute little creatures that fight other cute little creatures. You go around the board leveling up, collecting gold, buying items, and beating up enemies. You complete objectives like beating up a boss, fighting a super boss, to get an investment space, which can earn you gold for the rest of the game. You can also free a town by landing on it and fighting a battle. So I'm going to have this a little bit later in my slides, but there's a link to the video that I did already going over this, so we're not going over this all again too much. So this gives you access to each shop on the map and the inn that you can rest at to restore your health. That's when you free the town. And it also will remove your status conditions. So, like most RPGs, the game starts out a little bit slow. Like you've got no equipment, there isn't much to do on the first board. But there's many boards to come. So let's take a look first at this board. Over in this area over here to the left, well, you see this was something I didn't know, was that I was actually going to have access to my cursor while I was doing this, so I kind of highlighted some things. You're going to see, let me get back in my notes here. You'll see a treasure chest, and this chest contains parts for crafting, powerful equipment. So you're going to take this ferry right here by spending 10 gold to cross over the river to this area. And this area also contains harder enemies. These are level 2 enemies in the pink, and this green one is a level 3 enemy. And so, I mean, they're harder enemies. You shouldn't be fighting them. And in this game, you're also going to find keys, and you'll get matching color keys. So, like, green key will open up this door to the ruins here. Yellow key will open up this mine over here. And so those are special areas. And you can also, on this map, you can collect gumdrops. You got some gumdrop drops, like right over here, and you take them over to these gumdrop shops here, here, and here, to buy items, rare items, special weapon ores, and trophies, which you can add to your collection. And if you get enough of the trophies, you can increase your stats by completing a collection. And let's see, just going rest of my notes is going over stuff that we've already talked about. Let's see. Yep. So I do want to get a text version of this as well, but kind of important I get this out right now. So yeah, the carrots on the stick are kind of like you see in like these doors. It's like, ooh, I want that. I want to get in there, and I kind of over here up top. This is for, those are your battle cards. These are the back of the enemy's battle cards. And so this is your battle card right here. If you're the rogue, you can see the rogue's image right here. You get the Nana Boo Boo card, which it's still like my favorite one. The rogue is showing off and avoids all melee damage this turn. And then there is Who's a Good Boy. This one is the Green Blobs card, and I can see a little bit of things on the side here. Just ignore those. Those don't exist. The Green Blob wants you to have a poison counter. You get a poison counter. So just fun little things like that are scattered all throughout in this game. And that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about as far as the game goes. Again, go ahead and check out the video. It'll show you a little bit more. That was just kind of meant to be a little quick presentation of what the game is. And so here are my links to my X or Twitter, my Twitch link to my Twitch channel. We're going to be getting that back up on the 1st, so probably won't have a stream on the 1st, but the following Monday we'll have a stream again. Just some issues with my computer. And then Etsy, I do have an Etsy shop, and that has a lot of cool artwork from the game. And there's going to be some more t-shirts and mugs and things put up on that very shortly here. Then there's the link to my Gmail and my YouTube channel, which has a lot of my video content on it.
Alright, so that was the first video. I'll go ahead and hit back to our stream. And then Lucas, I would say more than welcome to jump back in. I think the first thing is, if anybody has any questions for that first part, it's kind of like Lucas's gaming vision that they have. And I think if that is available, we'll probably put on closed captioning for the next one if you need to. If anybody has any questions for that first part, it's kind of like... And then you'll want to mute the YouTube video.
Okay, yeah, I've got it muted. So yeah, that's one more thing I wanted to mention. I did this like at the end of the night, so I was exhausted. So I
It's okay.
apologize. I get there's certain sections where I might get a little bit monotone. I couldn't sound as enthusiastic as I wanted or anything.
There's streaming issues today. I'm not sure. Let's do a variable. Okay, I think we're back. Wait, hold on. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it's having so much trouble today. Because my bandwidth is fine. Maybe it's just OBS. Maybe
Okay.
I should use Streamlabs. I don't
Hopefully it's
know.
got nothing to do with Nolan.
Yeah, sorry about that. Back to your question. So what
Okay,
makes
so
Name Drop Gaming different than just a game studio or game company?
so it's really like in the approach of how we're doing account that I'm streaming games from constantly to kind of and, we're down again.
I think we're back.
Okay. So as I was saying, and I've got my Twitch that I'm streaming games from. I'm putting stuff up on YouTube. We've got additional content there. Um, there's going to be uh, the charities that I'm looking to create, and these are all going to be things that are in the middle section that aren't going to appear this week. So you just have to kind of hold on and take a look at those. And then there's also I've got an adult cartoon that's going to be very anime-ish like that I briefly mentioned in the video, and it's going to be similar to things like Bleach, and I've got some humor very similar to Futurama for that, and this is a lot of things that there's so much division is so deep right now, and there's only so much that can be worked on at one time, and you really need to say, hey, I need to put all this stuff on the back burner. We're going to work on this right now because this is what's more important. And really, uh, if you want to succeed at uh, any type of business in any field, you got to be able to get that visibility. And so that's where your networking is.
I'll prime you with and see if I can. That didn't seem to work. Apply. Okay. Let's try that one. Does that work better?
Okay, so yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like we're back up. So I was mentioning, so I'm bringing up the best ways that I know to do things, and there's definitely there's millions of ways out there, literally millions to make money, and we could talk about all that in a later session, but uh, there- just because I found the ways that seem to be the best for me doesn't mean that they're necessarily the best for everyone. You just got to find out what works, what jives well with you. Okay, so another question about the projection of the game. If you're taking uh, those kinds, uh, anyway, I was curious if you had handled printing or intended on handling printing of the game. So the printing of the game, it takes money. uh, there's So right now I've got the first board most of the way finished with the recent trip to GDEX. We found some things that could be changed a little bit. So obviously those updates will need to happen. And really bare minimum, I wanted to have probably 2 or 3 boards put together, really 3 boards put together before I start worrying about how we're going to print this, and really want to get this to be something that is a video game, because the way things are looking, it may not be possible to actually sell this at a reasonable price with how much I've seen that it costs to create it. But those numbers could change because they give you a little bit of a discount if you buy in bulk. So if you buy in a really big bulk, then you can sell for a little bit cheaper whenever you go to these printing companies. But again, you've got to have more than, like, I see 10 people watching in chat right now. You've got to have more than 10 people know about your game before you can actually try and sell it.
Yeah. But I mean, there's and I know that you went to GDEX as a way to kind of get your word out there and kind of get to meet people and see what other folks are doing. Um, so there's definitely a way of building that audience there too. And I know when you and I talked, you were, I think, at one point speaking about having kind of prototypes of the board game that you were creating, right? And to, in some regards, you could always, even if it's not the final product, print out like your board game in a rough standpoint. I can't remember if you said you did or didn't, but that's something that could be helpful too as you're trying to like figure out, okay, is this board game working or this, tabletop game working, and then go from there and play it, and test it, and see how it works. And then once you figure out on the back end, like how much does it cost to print the board and how much work does it take to kind of get this into a larger uh, purchasable audience, you at least can prototype some of the stuff through maybe materials that aren't exactly what you want, or maybe you can. I've heard people do that with cards, where they can just kind of get like one card just to kind of test it and see if it works, one card deck. But what was your approach then, if through this process? Because I know you've been working on this for a bit. What was your process in terms of
Oh,
printing your first part of this board game to where what you see that you've been shopping around with other folks today?
okay. So I'll get to that. But where I wanted to start here was you're going to get some soul crushing feedback when you present your games. That's just going to be some things that you got to get used to. Hey, that this is going to happen, and that feedback that you get, whether you feel good or bad about it, just keep in mind that feedback is neutral. All feedback is neutral. So it's what you're going to do with that that's really going to change things. So when I first started showing this off, I took it down to CODG. I forget what they are, what their acronym stands for, but they are the board game equivalent of COGG, and they said something about how it was really kind of a middle finger if you had lose the turn on there. And we were using dice instead of the battle card system we're using now, which was just kind of like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is like we're trying to find out where all the dice is, and it's getting really messy trying to place that on the part of the board where it needs to be at the time it needs to be. And the battle cards were just much easier. I'd get some cool little sayings in there and make something fun out of it. And so my process of creating it, really, I started off by just getting it down on paper, like literally down on paper with crowns, and made up all the artwork with crowns and like a pen, and that's how it got created. One person I was really making a 5 to 20 minute game that me and like a buddy of mine could play. And then 2 months later, after spending like 12, 14 hours a day on it, I'm up to like my seventh board of it. And there were people that were watching throughout the entire process, and they were they told me that I should actually take this and get it published. So I think that's when when you got a product that's good, is when people will tell you that, hey, you got to do something with this.
Yeah, that's great. And I think we got another question too. So what was the feedback given on what your target audience was? And then we'll probably have to play the video so that we can make sure to be able to play all that. But yeah, what was your feedback given based on what the target audience was?
So I'm confused about that. Oh, so no, that my target. I think he's referring to something I was saying, but
Yeah.
people that were not part of my target audience, people that don't play board games that actually saw it, those were the ones who looked on and said, "Hey, yeah, that's pretty cool what you're doing. You gotta try and sell this idea."
Yeah. Yeah, it's a variety of things. You're going to need feedback from folks who do play board games, for example, but it's also good to test with folks that don't. Because when it's, say, for example, thrown into a store, you're going to get everybody, right? You're going to get the grandmother that's looking for something for her kids, and you're going to get the hardcore, like, tabletop players that want to play something with their friends on the weekend. So it's good to do a bit of both, but then, read between the lines a little bit
Oh,
of like what your feedback might be.
so yeah, you I did misread this. The question was the feedback given based
Oh,
on what your target audience was? And I
for so long. Why did it decide to change? Oh, that's coming back up.
Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, I feel like whether it was or wasn't based on what my target audience was, it was still good feedback, and I felt like those changes needed to be made. They were just kind of like I heard these guys talking about it, and I was like, yeah, these things they need to be changed.
Cool. All right. Well, if you're ready, um, I'm gonna go ahead and start the live stream of the second video.
Yeah.
And let me just make
And,
sure.
and yeah, some parts of this may or may not make sense completely. So once we go over the other two sections, you'll probably get a clearer picture of the things that I'm trying to
And
say.
those are
And
other
if not,
two
you can always,
sections. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, that's all I was saying was if anything's not clear, you can always message me, type something in chat or whatever.
Well, that's what I was gonna
But
say. So there are two other sections coming in the future that will showcase more of your breakdown of this project and your game and how your studio connects with all that. Correct? Is that correct?
that's correct.
Okay. Cool. So let's get into it, and I'll show the second stream, and then this will be second video. Whoop. Second
Okay. Yep. Right one.
video.
Okay. I'm
Sorry,
gonna
I'm just
jump out of.
posting in the chat. Yep.
I'm the Gumdrop Gamer, and you are watching the Gumdrop Gaming channel. And today we are talking about Showcase Your Talent. And this is an online event. It's an online marathon that's going to be a week long. So I'm asking people who decide that they want to join to provide, links to all your previous works and current projects. This is something that I want to be very big. So I'm going to promote this a lot. So what it's going to have is music composers, artists, 3D modelers, animators, games designers, content creators, speedrunners and casters, and everything video game related. And so we'd have some gaming music, in between the showcases. I'd like to see remixes of some gaming music, maybe metal remixes, like Super Mario Brothers 2 ending. Also, the ending for the Super Mario Land, the Game Boy version. And Unbreakable Determination, DuckTales Moon theme, King K. Rool theme, and maybe we could have some Zelda Town music, and Metropolis Zone, and maybe some people that are music composers will be able to work together on this. These are just kind of all real hint things that you don't have to do these, but these are things that I'd like to see going on in here. Then artists, you can show off specific tools, whether you do like Krita, Photoshop, or Paint. You could show off things like shading or Gaussian blur, or how to do gradients. 3D modelers. Whether you're doing like Blender or Maya, you could show specifically in your platform, how you do rigging, how you do painting. Don't make these like extremely big things, but show off beveling or duplicating or bridging, making up materials, how to do animation work in there. Obviously, if you're gonna go this route, and this is good advice for pretty much anything that you do. Make sure you have multiple backup saves and kind of just like do the work before the showcase. So and then animations. There's 2Ds and 3D. I don't know a whole lot about this, so I don't have a whole lot of notes, but I do know that you can do animation in Krita, and it can also be done in Blender and Maya thanks to keyframes and moving objects around. And then you could do like a voice actor. If you're a voice actor, you could do how-tos. Like I saw one person showing off, how to speak from the diaphragm, how to make it sound like you were fighting, and other things like that. And then if you're good at working in like game engines like Unity or Unreal, show off how to do the lighting, the nodes, particle effects. I mean, these are all just like kind of, again, more hit items, things that I'd like to see in something like this. And while I'm pausing here, this isn't anything new. This is stuff that you're going to see at GDQ. And so I just want to bring it to kind of a wider platform for gamers. And content creators, come show off your channels in quirky ways. Keep a video game theme, but maybe you want to show off how to make a perler bead art or perler bead art. Maybe you want to show off how to do the 3D printing or gaming characters, or just a fun game that you have that you're just great at commentary for, or maybe crowd control games that would be cut off at a time limit. And then speedrunners, come to the event too. Tassers, focus on fun or funny or meme categories. This is supposed to be something really lighthearted and fun to really just focus on collaboration with other people. Do categories like one-hand run, or 2 players, 1 controller, or 1 player, 2 controllers, credit warps, glitch showcases, blindfolded. If I hadn't said it already, do crowd control. Focus should be on fun. Harmony and cooperation between each other. Building your own channels, your own games, your own companies, your own projects. And then there's going to be a St. Jude charity that's going to be attached to that. We'll be raising $10,000, or could be much, much more, for the St. Jude charity. This is a way to get eyes on your own project. So let's say that you enter the event and you have 100 people watching your channel. Potentially 25 to 50 of those people can decide to subscribe or follow to other channels. If 100,000 people total are watching the event, then you could potentially go home and gain 1,000 followers in a week or on the same day. Just like, these aren't things that are uncommon if you go to one of these big stages and you just play your heart out. You do just the best that you could do, and you wanted to really show somebody something special, whatever that is, however that looks like to you. So this means more channel growth for everybody. It means more funding opportunities because you have more views, more people willing to join your team. So we'd be showing the best of what we currently have, so that people can actually cling to our visions. Be outrageous, be fun, be funny, be quirky, share your heart out, and share your feelings, your struggles, what you overcame to get from where you were to where you are now. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and to show people that you are real and that you chose your dreams, your way, with all your heart. So, while you're waiting for the event to start, we'll have people practicing. Again, link all this stuff. That I'm going to be linking as much as I can in all these chats and everywhere that I share this at. So I'll need somebody to create a promo video that we can link to everybody's social media, which will promote the event. And you'll have to see me for more details on this. Promote the event with friends and family on your Twitch, X, YouTube, social media. Try and find ways to bring it up in conversation. Connect with other streamers and content creators. Join the event to boost your own views, especially because Twitch and Twitter's algorithm pushes people up with the most views. I don't know for sure if that's something on Twitter, but Twitch definitely does that. So the people with the most views are the ones that are going to get the most views because they have the best search visibility. So join other events that showcase your skills. Hold special streams with challenge content to promote yourself and the event. So like an example of this would be like streaming 12 hours to beat every Zelda game I can in that amount of time. Or, doing, again, which I've mentioned too many times already, doing crowd control of like Mario Brothers games in hilarious and entertaining ways. It's about thinking about how it is that you want to be seen to the world. What is it that you want to show people here? And, this is really what everything is about. It's in the right time, all the time. If you've got your heart in it, it's going to come together. So the person that you decide you want to be for your segments, and even showing up and hosting and doing commentary for other people will also increase your success levels. So I'm going to create positions in a Discord channel, which I still have not created, which would have been really good to do before I created this, but more important that I got this out, I'll make sure that I do that and have it accessible to you guys. But don't be surprised you join the Discord if I message you directly saying, hey, do you want to do this? Because I want to be able to get as many people to collaborate together, because it's going to be so much better for everything that you're working on. And last time I ran an event like this online, it was only supposed to be for 2 months, and or I set it back like 2 months, and I was like, that should be enough time, but it took like 12-14 hour days getting everything together, because I was doing all the scheduling, all the coordinating, and basically everything was done by myself. There were a few exceptions to that. Some people did do things that really changed the course of things and really made things better. That I don't want to discount what they did at all, but that was just my experience with the last one. So things, when one person's working on it and they don't really know what they're doing, that can make things a little bit difficult. I know more what I'm doing, and I'm not asking somebody to do all this by themselves. I'm just saying I could use some help with all this stuff. So we're going to go ahead and bring it to an end. This is where I'm going to end it for you coggers. But for everybody else watching, thanks for joining the channel. Thank you guys for being a part of my life and everything, and just doing everything that you know how to do. Anytime you do any of that for anyone, it makes somebody's life just a little bit better. You're making the entire world a lot better. So, I'm the Gumdrop Gamer. You guys have been watching the Gumdrop Gaming channel. Thanks for joining me. And you guys stay awesome, bros. See you later. Bye.
All right. So we'll start to wrap up this talk, but yeah, let's give you some time to reply. We had kind of looking into the chat.
Yeah, let's give you some reply. We had.
I can hear your feedback on the YouTube video.
Yeah. I forgot to pause it again.
That's okay.
Or mute it.
So the first question here,
You're
like hot bits of the meetup, have to rewatch headphone. Yeah, that's okay.
okay. So now looks like we're. I mean, basically.
Okay, now it's getting better.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah, you guys aren't missing anything. We're waiting for it to stop buffering before we continue on. But yeah, so basically, I wanted to get the word out there that hey, this is what I want to create. That way, people in the chat have a chance to join up if you've got something that you're working on that you really want to show off. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say here is everybody's going to win out of this. You get to show off your stuff. You get to say, "Hey, I've got this cool thing that I'm working on." People get eyes on that, and really the people that are going to get like the most uh, good out of this are the people that are going to put in not necessarily more, but something special, something really heartfelt, something. I mean, they do it on TV all the time. Is that they're going to give you something that's going to kind of tug at your heartstrings a little bit more, and that those are the people that are going to win the most out of something like this. Is when you can convey your vision in that way. If you make something really fun and exciting, that is really going to help your cause. And so, more power to you. If I can help you in that way, then that's great. But also, you guys are going to know about this event. The submissions are going to end in December, and then we're looking at the end of last weekend in March is when we're going to run the event. So, let's see. Hopefully that answers your question a little bit there. Hopefully the whole thing. And next question looks like it's from Viv Games. Interesting idea for sure. Having the passion behind your work and plans are key. I wonder if working with and collaborating with other groups and creating something that. Oh, okay. No, that one wasn't a question, but and basically wondering if you're consider joining other events and conventions that already exist. And then, yes, I would love to. Looking to see where I can find those now. It used to be that all I had to do was jump into the Speed Demos archive chat forums, and you could get to all the information right there because everybody was more active in those forums back in the day. But seems that's not the case anymore. So I've got to do a little bit of looking around and seeing what I can do. So I did publish my last Joe and Mac run to Speed Demos Archive, just kind of with the idea of, hey, I kind of want to talk about this as well. I put that in my submission, so we'll see what comes out of that.
Okay. Yeah, and
Um,
it sounds like our community is, at least able to give some feedback or some ideas. So I'd love to keep that conversation going in the Discord, or if you want
uh,
to message, we'll get you guys connected with Lucas too.
let's see. So let's see. Okay, there's a Tech Buzz and a booth at GDEX that have just reading Bid's comment here.
Hmm.
A booth, and there's a booth at GDEX that they schedule interviews, maybe a platform, various conventions that schedule attendees and exhibitors to show off something at your booth. I'd love to do all that. Any little bit of anything that I can do to get things up and rolling a little bit more smoother. And that's something that I mentioned also in that middle section that we cut out because it was going to be way too long today is don't ever try and reinvent the wheel. If you've already got a platform that you can present something on, do that first, and then you can additionally work on the stuff that you want to work on your own. Uh,
And I think we just had some comments after that.
yeah.
And then the last one, Pepperoni, was noting that this sounds like a lot of existing events, and he was wondering, are there any confirmed presentations for this event coming up that you can think of, or is
I
it all community driven? as I guess would be my added question
I
to you.
mean, it's all going to be community driven. I've got some specific people that I'm going to be reaching out to, uh, probably starting next week. That would be a good time to start. I mean, as early as tomorrow, it could be out there uh, doing that. I usually take my Saturdays off from doing stuff like this, but yeah, as early as tomorrow, I'll start reaching out to people and just getting as many people interested as possible that I know that I would want to have. Is you want it to be good, of course, and um, if anybody has it, anyone just wants to be involved and maybe doesn't really know exactly how you can link in like your project or whatever. I mean, again, just give me a chat and tell me about it, and we can definitely figure something out together. Uh, that's kind of the stuff that I do is figure out creative stuff like this all the time. You'd have to see how I go through my daily life, how I just automatically just boom, there's the answer.
Yeah, and
Not
and
always not always the right thing or the best thing, but I can come up. I'm very creative. Thanks to things like these.
yeah, and yeah. So if you have any questions or suggestions for Lucas on this, he's the same username in Discord. He's I think it's Game Drop Gaming in Discord as well. You can
Yeah,
message him
GameDev
directly.
gaming and some numbers after him, but yeah, I'm in like Discord.
And then if you have something like this that you want to post as a link, say if you have, an email, if you just want people to message you directly, let me know, and we can kind of share that. Or if you have something to say, you can obviously connect people
Oh,
too, if
oh,
you want.
here, let me put up this since we're mentioning it right now. Let me put this link in the chat. So that there's the Speed Demos archive sign up right there, and then um, I've got my own Discord.
Oh, if it doesn't let you in
Let
the
me
YouTube chat because of restrictions, you can send it to me in the presenter Discord, and I'll add it myself as an admin.
yeah. So
YouTube
there's
blocks links unless it's
oh,
for
it
me.
it does block link. Okay.
Yeah, unless it's me
Um.
or somebody else who's an admin.
So yep, and then I've got okay. So let's go ahead. I will send you a couple direct messages.
Okay, that'll work.
So there is the forum right there, and then the Discord link, which is only good for a week, and then I made this easy on myself and just put this all in the description of my video, so I can just copy and paste all this really quickly over to you. There we go. There's three
Okay.
direct messages that'll
Okay.
get you going.
Cool. I put that in the chat. Awesome. This has been great, man. And I know that you're looking to kind of present more content on this to kind of get people a better context of, how it all fits together. And obviously, we'd, love to see how this progresses and how your game progresses. And very excited to see it all come together. So keep the conversations going, and then, as things kind of come into fruition, let us know, and we'll be happy to kind of help. Just
Would have been
see how it's all going.
would have been nice to put it all in at once, but when you're showing off a vision, when you're showing off in a creative way, you got to get a little bit more words out there than hey, I'm looking to do this and we're going to do that and this and that. You got to you got to explain yourself a little bit more.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool.
Okay, so next person.
All right. Thanks, Lucas. Appreciate it. And let me just double check.
Well, were there any more questions?
Uh, no, pepperoni I think was the last one, and then I posted
All
your
right.
information. Yeah, I think we're
Yep.
good.
Just get a hold of me if you wanted to talk some more about this.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Sounds good. Thanks, Lucas. All right, next up is Gerald, who will be presenting today their game on Qualdron. So let me kind of ping and see if they're ready. I definitely need some like interlude music. Oh, as soon as I get enough to type, he jumps in. Hey, Gerald, how's it going? Make sure if your audio's working.
Yep, here I am.
All right. Cool. Thanks for joining us today. It's exciting to have you talk a bit
Mhm.
about your project and your game and your retrospective and kind of seeing all that good information about what you had in your experience. So talk a little bit about yourself, about what your game is, and what we'll be looking at today.
All right, let me just start up my presentation and share my screen. Okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Gerald. I have been developing games since I was very young, all the way back in middle school. I went to school for game design and development between 2010 to 2014. While it's not something I do professionally, it's something I still do on the side as a hobby. And the game that I ended up spending most of my time working on is called Qualdron. And I'll go more into that in a moment. So, the goal of this presentation is to tell a story about its development, and hopefully maybe it's something that you can take away some of the lessons I learned and applied to your projects, or just sit back and be entertained by what this game went through. So I'll be going through a background of the game, a couple of playthroughs, what it looked like near the beginning and what it currently looks like, and then some final thoughts. So, Qualdron is started out as a really funny idea. As a lover of puns and wordplay, I said to some people back in 2010 in my games class, what if we made a literal space shooter, a game where you shoot space? And as we all know, artists aren't truly appreciated in their times. And that was the same for me. Got a little chuckle, but it was like, okay, yeah, whatever. So I decided that I would try making the game at an upcoming game jam with my brother. And that's what this first version is. It was developed in Multimedia Fusion 2 Developer, which was the engine that I learned to use all the way back in middle school at a summer camp. And that kind of might tell you how old this thing is, but it was fairly powerful in my hands, having spent so much time with it. So let's take a look at what that first version of the game looked like. Oh, all right, let's drag the window here. All right. Now, I'm going to jump a little bit in the video because I'm actually going to do a playthrough of the newer version, but here we go. So it uses by default only keyboard controls. right from the start, I implemented remappable controls, which I'm pretty happy about. It's a core accessibility feature. So as you can see, you can move your ship back and forth, up and down, and you can fire 3 different sizes of blocks. At this point, there are only 3 enemies in the game, one that to veer over into your direction. And now we're gonna fast forward to the boss. So a very simple first boss that he just flies back and forth and fires his own blocks back at you, and you have to try to shoot your blocks and avoid his blocks. This was as far as I originally got in the first game jam with my brother.
Do you remember which game jam this was for? I know it was a while ago,
This
right?
this was like a 2011, 2012 game jam at my college.
Okay.
They hosted various ones.
That's cool.
So after that jam, I went on to develop the second level. And we will see a brand new enemy that will appear.
Yeah, it's pretty neat that you're throwing out these blocks and then they become the obstacles as well.
Yes, you can be your own worst enemy.
That's great.
And so these new enemies create an explosion when they're destroyed, replacing the C-shaped ships from the previous level. And if we jump to the boss, we have the boxer. To get your aiming,
Work on it.
the block fly.
I've been doing all my voodoo stuff, and right now, see if I check the internet, it's fine. It's something. Oh, now it's getting better.
Yes, I see it's
Okay.
going again.
All right.
I do
I think-
have the stream off to the side. I meant
Okay.
to pay more attention to that.
Yeah, I think we're better.
Yeah, all right. Curses the buffering is return. Love that it creates obstacles. Actions which have multiple consequences like that provide depth and are more engaging. I agree. As the person who made this thing, I think you are a very smart and intelligent person. So I decided to restart from scratch. So I made this in 2011, 2012, and around that time, I then learned a new game engine called Construct 2. And just like Multimedia Fusion, it's also highly obscure and seemingly nobody has heard of it. Nonetheless, it enables you to export games to HTML5, which previously I had to create executables that could only run on Windows, and Mac users were left to fend for themselves. But I wanted to have the game be more accessible to more people, and I wanted to switch to a more powerful tool set. And this was a pretty scary thing. This Multimedia Fusion was something that I've stuck with for probably over 10 years. And my brother was even cautioning against doing this because there's just such a high risk of losing all that progress you made. But thankfully, I was able to hit the ground running. I was able to get back to where I was previously and start making things even better. So let's now take a look at the current version of Qualdron.
And if you've ever worked in ClickFusion or Construct 2 or 3, let us know in the chat, because I know we have a couple.
So
pay very close attention. I'm saying very important things now.
And so, yeah, as long as you heard all of that, you should be good.
Yeah.
Um,
No, we paused. We paused.
yeah.
All right, we're back.
So we have both keyboard and gamepad controls. There's a much more elegant way of changing your controls now. And in fact, there's a little window in the top left that enables you to preview if those controls even feel right before you start the game.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. That's really cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wish more games had that. Like, sometimes you just have the ability to change your inputs and then you just hope for the best when you play.
Then you pause, change it again, be
Right.
like, you know what, I'm just stick with the default.
Yeah, that's good.
So, accessibility for people with disabilities was a very important and conscious thing I wanted to implement, and something that I hoped would help give me a leg up on trying to get into the games industry. Thankfully, nowadays it is much, much more prevalent and popular to implement than it was about 10 years ago. So you can adjust the turn sound on and off. If the star background is distracting, you can get rid of that. You can adjust your number of lives. And there's a feature called the bottom feeder that you can turn on and off. I'll go more into that later. And then there is a game speed changer where if you need to, if your reaction skills will necessitate taking things a little bit slower, you could do that. So you can even lower the speed to 50% of the regular speed if you really wanted to. But I'm going to keep it at 100.
So while you're kind of going through some of these features, are these things that you think you could have done in Click Studio? Click Fusion Studio?
Game speed is, I don't think I had access to game speed in Multimedia Fusion. I did have the parallaxing effect and could have maybe did some things with the sound and music. But I think it's just been such a long time since I looked through it. I think one of the things that just was a bit more challenging to do in there was kind of combing through the code and whatnot and cleaning things up and doing sort of programmed movements with enemies and bosses. I think those were the main challenges I had with that old engine.
And that's something good to know is that sometimes when you switch engines or platforms, like some of the changes, if they're especially thinking about them being positive, can come from just changing the engine, but they can also come from learned lessons that you've come across by developing a game, period, right? That you might be like, the
Yeah.
approach might be better if we try this, and you get a chance to do it over again. That's what I kind of saw with what Drift was doing in his game. He wanted to rebuild his roads, but making a new game helped him start from scratch and learn his lessons and try something new and make something better. You're getting, sounds like a little bit of both, where you're coming over with all this knowledge that you had, plus the engine seems to be giving you new abilities that you couldn't do before in the previous engine, which is kind of cool, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I looked at how I did some of the coding for like how the blocks spawned and were created and whatnot. And then when I started from scratch with a new one, I realized that the old way that there were better ways of doing those same things as well. So definitely, sometimes it is good to delete 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 your art, start over. So I'm going to start playing the game. And here's a big change. We have a cutscene.
I was going to say, now this is the browser or is this the local?
This is the browser version.
Okay.
So what you're seeing in this cutscene here is an illustration of what happens with the bottom feeder.
That's great.
one of the things that didn't happen in the first version is that there were no consequences for letting enemies fly by you. Not that anybody actually let enemies fly by them, but I wanted there to be some sort of consequence for letting enemies go by you. So I implemented the bottom feeder, who grows as enemies are let by and will shrink as your blocks hit them.
Gotcha. The blocks become the damage counter for them. The enemies become food almost. That kind of feels like Tetris, where if you don't knock out your blocks, they become an issue.
Exactly.
That's cool. I like that.
Also, you could see some HUD changes. You to know if you have when you can fire your shot again, you have a green bar that appears over your character. And also, you got these really cool transitions for the bosses. The boss also now flashes red when you hit him, which I think helps make it clearer to players that, hey, you are hurting this guy.
Yeah. That's cool.
And now you also get a results screen.
Okay. And all the while you're making all these like adjustments, improvements, are these things that you've just kind of decided for yourself, or they also come from people giving you feedback as they've played your game?
So some of these came from feedback. Many of it was me trying to push the game to be more and more polished and trying to emulate Galaga and some other games. Like, hey, Galaga shows you how many your hit rate. So I figured, oh, that might be something cool that people might want to see. However, it is an example of something that I added that I'm not entirely sure players got that much value from.
Right. Yeah,
And
I mean, it's all about testing and seeing how it turns out.
Let me just pause real quick to take a look at chat. Experience is experience. Most concepts are transferable. If you're learning, just starting is the best thing. And your knowledge will grow. Exactly. I always say the best thing to learn is to make something. Yep. Just going through the process. The main play testers for this game ended up being folks who attended conventions. There certainly was a diverse number of people who were there, and it's something that I will touch upon in my final thoughts. But hey, we got 2 new enemies now. We have the return of those explodey guys, but we also have these new ships that make your blocks grow in size. So can end up making things a little bit more challenging for yourself, especially in combination of those exploding ones. Ooh, that was a big chunk right there.
Well, something else that's interesting is that you could fire off the blocks pretty close to the top of the screen, which might be beneficial for enemies that fly into them towards the bottom, or eats the platforms before they get to the bottom.
Now, this guy looks certainly different. He's not carrying boxing gloves.
Oh my gosh. Oh wait.
But
oh no.
It is the gourmand, as I like to call him. He eats your blocks and then spits them back out at you.
Dude, you need a title for that. That's a great name. Gourmand?
Yes.
That's great.
And as you can see, I just can't get through, it seems. But, you know, bigger blocks require more bites to eat. And so that's how you get through him.
Nice. That's great.
And there we go.
I love it.
And now we have the third and final level. So the music in the first version, I just took music from other games and I implemented them in mine.
Oh,
And
what
now
was
we
that
have a
sound
ship
effect?
that hides your blocks. It used to be completely invisible, but I
Oh,
decided it might be a little bit better just to lower the transparency.
dang, that's what that sound effect is? That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a really great tool called BFXR that you
Oh
just
yeah.
mess around with sliders. Yeah, and I don't know what I'm doing, but these sounds sound cool, so.
Yeah, we've used that for game jams like this.
hmm So now we have this sun guy who our blocks don't work on, but there's this light bulb up here that
Oh.
we can destroy, which gets rid of his protection, and we can then hit him. There we go. Now, with more light bulbs, he grows ever brighter. Ooh.
Think he's been listening.
There we go. All right, and now he is
He's
really
super
big,
big.
but not too threatening. So, pretty simple third boss. If I were to redo things, I might swap the orders of them, but that is it.
That's cool. Nice. You just got first. Show off.
Yes.
Show off.
Thank you, thank you. It is a local high scores board. It's
Okay.
not global, so no, I can't see any of you doing better than me. I can only see me being the best.
you
I'm
doing better
sorry.
than you, which is, you know, a struggle in of itself, right?
hmm
Um, yeah, that's
hmm
great. I was like looking through the chats. We have Gumdrop was saying, you know, I find you can do pretty much everything you would do in Photoshop and Creative. Creative's free though. Yeah, that's cool.
hmm I should
Viv
probably check that out.
Viv says that his brother uses BFXR. It's really cool. He likes the bosses and they break down the game in a good way, and I like that they have personality. I think that's cool too. Like, I
Thank
mean,
you, thank you.
you know, it sometimes takes a sec to do, but then what's nice is that you can create the templatized, recreatable parts, keep them, but just change them a little bit, and then you're kind of driving as a player towards like, what's the next boss gonna be? Like, it's kind of neat to give them that unique personality. Um,
Yeah, it's kind of why the game I'm working on now is just a boss rush. I just love bosses
yeah.
and their uniqueness and their character. And I'm like, I'm just going through this stage so that way I could just see the cool guy at the end. I just want to see the cool guys.
Something that might be kind of neat too is if there's like little hints in the levels that showcase. Like I almost felt like the last one was intentional to make the blocks invisible as a way to show sight or clarity, where the boss at the
hmm
end is like about light, right, and lighting things up. Well, not really lighting things up in terms of gameplay, but you know what I mean. Like if you have some of those, it
Yeah.
might be kind of fun. Be like, oh, I wonder what's coming up. Um, yeah, it's cool. Uh, and Pepperoni was asking, are you gaining lives after beating the boss? So they're wondering what the in.
I decided to have your lives reset
Okay.
at each level. That's something I did forget that I did, but I did it people obviously because you're playing it over and over again, and I thought that just softening the difficulty a little bit in that way might be good because I'll be honest, I wasn't sure if like after you get through, if you get to the second level and then you die, is someone really going to want to play through all the levels again just to get to the third stage? So that's a little bit of admittedly a lack of confidence in the replayability of the game, but
Yeah.
that's the decision I decided to make.
Yeah. I mean, it all depends. I mean, you can kind of like play around with it a bit more and decide, you know, if you want to change it. But it all comes down to gameplay because a lot of times you can try to make things as fair, as interesting, unique as possible. But then when it comes down to playing it and getting feedback, that's kind of where it's at, right? So, but I think it's pretty neat the way it
Thank
is.
you.
Um, and I guess that's I don't want to. I know you're kind of getting back to your presentation, but my question is, you think you're done for now, or you kind of do updates here and there, or like what's your next steps in terms of all this?
So I stopped working on the game in 2018. Um, and I don't really think I want to pick it back up. Um, I did think I was reached out to someone about an accessibility improvement I can make when I posted the game to the group, which, as I'll explain shortly, is an oddity, a welcome one though. Um, so I do hope to make a adjustment for that. And there certainly are a number of things that were left on the drawing room table. Buffering.
Oh, we're down,
And I think we're
down to
back up.
clown, and now we're back? Question mark. But sorry, guys,
All right.
internet gods.
Um, so there's a couple of features like challenge, like I talked a lot about taking inspiration from Galaga. Some challenging stages I thought of where you have some puzzles you have to kind of solve involving it's a little hard to illustrate, but just I'll just say that I had some ideas of some bonus stages. Additionally, there are a few other boss ideas, a few, definitely several more types of enemies. I think the challenge that I started to run into was how far can I push the block mechanic? How nuanced can I make each boss? Can I make, because I mean, the thing with many space shooters is that kind of all you have to do is, and not to downplay them, but you can make them bullet sponges and then have them have unique firing patterns and maybe different areas you can hit on them. Versus this game is, so far it's been about building a puzzle and having the player solve how to damage the boss, um, and doing it with a limited type of weapon. So I really wanted to incorporate the mechanic in stronger and stronger ways, but I felt as though I was running out of some steam in being able to do that.
Well, one of the questions I would have is, based on this experience, your interest, and obviously your capacity, would you be interested in making a new game of some sort? Do you have any ideas for projects you may want to start on?
So the current game I'm working on called Lasso Lad is a boss rush sort of game
Oh, that's what it's
where
called. Is Lasso Lad? That's
yes.
cool.
Hmm.
I like the name.
Thank you. If you want to play it, it is in the Showcase Your Games Discord
Oh yeah, you're
chat.
right.
But it's currently on pause while I work on my Halloween costume. And I was also helping out someone make sprites for their game. So I'm looking to jump back to it. It's a game I'm really excited about because, like I said, it's just about the bosses. So you get those real fun, real unique personalities. It's also combining my love of crafting because I am making the bosses in the game out of physical objects that I'm gluing together and painting and whatnot. If you're familiar with kit bashing, where you take model kits and you
Hmm.
different model kits and you put them together, this is trash bashing, where
Trash bashing.
yes, you're taking junk and toys and whatever you want and put them together, and do pretty much the same thing. So it's been really fun. Um, and actually, the game started as trying to make a variation of Qualdron, and then me iterating on the idea, that mechanic doesn't feel quite right because what I was trying to do was like, oh, you fire blocks and then you pull the blocks down. And then I was like, well, this sort of gravity gun thing doesn't feel quite right. What if I made it that you can actually grab the block and then fling it down in whatever direction you want? And that was basically like throwing a lasso at something and then throwing it. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. That's that's not bad. I like how that feels. And yeah. So there's been a few times in which I try to think of how to change up the game, such as even making it more like a side scrolling instead of a vertical shooter. But we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, and I went ahead and grabbed your itch.io links and put them in the chat. People want to play them. So the one that you worked on the Qualdron, and then your new one
Hmm.
coming, Lasso Lad. So yeah,
Thank you.
definitely keep an eye on those. Um, but yeah, this has been great. And like I mentioned when we were talking before, like we have a couple people who have worked in uh, multimedia click fusion way back in the day. Because
Hmm.
I don't know if they're as active anymore. They might still be around. But then definitely Construct 2, I've seen a couple people use those for game jams. And thanks for the shout out on the BFXR, because that's a great music sound effect tool as well. But
Hmm.
yeah, this has been really cool.
Um, so I'm sorry if I gave the impression that that was so. I'll wrap things up quickly by
Oh no,
just
yeah,
going
keep
over
going.
a few things.
Take your time.
So things that I learned was focus on being a community member first. So I talked about accessibility being very important, and a lot of advocates were saying, "Hey, just reach out to the community. They're just chomping at the bit, waiting to help you." And that is not necessarily the case because the couple of times I didn't get any responses. And I think it had to do with you coming into a tight knit community and saying, hey, I'm new here, try my thing. And while I'm not asking them to pay anything for it, and hey, you get to play a game for free, it's still weird having an outsider come in and ask you for favors. So if you're going to do something, you're trying to target a group or something, you want to be an actual part of that community. Yes, killing your bosses until you find one that you like is critical for all areas of your life. Um, I wrote a couple of blog posts about my experience making a Qualdron, and one of them is about the iterations of the boss. So the second boss was, as you saw before, punches back your blocks, and people found it impossible because it was a pretty tight window to try to hit him in. So, who you didn't see was the catcher boss, the second iteration, who catches your blocks and throws them back at you. The smaller the block, the lighter it is, so the quicker he throws it back. The larger the block, the heavier it is, so it takes him longer to throw it back. But the problem with that was people still not understanding. I'm suddenly implying that your blocks have weight, and there's nowhere in the game that that is hinted at or suggested to think outside of the box like that. So if I wanted my second boss to make players think about using their blocks more wisely, I needed to encourage them to think about the size of the blocks, which is where these ship clusters that weren't in the game before started appearing. Where hey, it makes sense to fire a large block at these purposefully made clusters of enemies.
Yes.
And then we got the gourmand, as I talked about, who tries to visually illustrate um, how the size makes a difference in thinking about how you use your projectiles.
I love that.
Focusing on your audience is a big thing. Being at these conventions and things, I had a whole giant range of people, and I thought my game should be like Galaga, and that like you can ask anyone to pop in a quarter and play Galaga. But that's not quite what my game was. It still focused on people who were more game savvy and just used to playing games. And I got very bogged down and focused on what a large number of non-gamers had to say. We talked about from the previous speaker about like, hey, you're getting all sorts of people coming in and seeing your game, so getting their feedback is important. But I tended to focus maybe too much on it, and it wasn't a good thing. So still look out for everyone, but know who your audience is. Players also constantly think they know what's best. And I'm sure we've all had a game where we had a nice instruction screen, players skip past them, and then they're like, oh, I have no idea what to do. They thought they could intuit everything, but no, they could not. And that continued to be a challenge I faced in trying to convey information to players. Uh, the bottom feeder uh, was heavily ignored by players. What was happening was people would not realize that this thing existed, and then maybe once they realized that all of a sudden they have less real estate on the screen, some of them will stop firing blocks because they're afraid of creating more limited space, when in actuality that would actually help their problem. I just want to be noticed and loved, and yeah, I
That's a,
feel you. I feel
good
you.
illustration on that guy.
Thank you. And that's why I ended up creating the cutscene. But as soon as people saw that you could skip the cutscene, as the text says at the bottom, they said, "Oh, this means it's not important," and they skip it. I pretty much 95% of people skip the cutscene just because it said you can skip it. So finding ways to convey information and try not to let players trap themselves is a constant battle we're all facing. But you know what? Sometimes those players are right. The number one most common feedback I got on my game was power ups. I want power ups. You should add power ups. This would be cool for power ups. And I'm like, there's no need for power ups. Galaga, as I was using for reference, you have your ship that shoots one bullet, and then your ship can get captured. You take it back, and then you can fire two bullets. Okay, but in my game, you can shoot three different types of bullets whenever you whenever you want. So why would I bother adding power-ups? It doesn't seem to be necessary. What I didn't take into account was player empowerment. So if we take a look at Galaga, we have gradually going up the player feeling more powerful and excited about getting their power up. They're shooting enemies, and then the enemy Galaga ship comes in and it steals their ship. They take it back, and bam! Now they're using two bullets now, and it's great. And they clear that challenging stage, and then they get hit, and so it goes down. But they're really excited about getting back to that high from having that power up, versus the status quo for Quadrant is always the same. And in fact, you might start feeling less and less empowered over time because there's just nothing really changing about you. I mean, maybe yes, you are picking up and outmaneuvering the enemies and bosses, but those space shooters were really, really good at dumping a load of stuff on you to try to make you feel more powerful. Citing examples after Galaga. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and you make a good point at the end that this any kind of game can have what's called like pacing, right? Where you have high intense moments, and that might be, a lot that you have to deal with as a player. Or sometimes it's like you have new skill sets that you have to learn, and they can be really exciting, but then you kind of give them a little bit of a chance to try those things out, or like a little bit of a break. Um, when I think of uh, what is it? There's a couple of games out there that are like kind of zombie-esque games where you fight a bunch of monsters and then you have a safe room that you kind of relax in, or like an empty
Hmm.
space. You power up, you get your things, and then you go back at it again. And that's kind of like a pacing that I think can kind of be engaging and fun. Um, and I know, thinking about bringing in some of those mechanics, Caleb had a nice note. So one thing to think through is to only show players what they need to know at the exact time or moment that they need to know it. So this requires some anticipation, but it's a solid way to introduce controls. So that's something that I think is a good point. Um,
Definitely.
and then pepperoni. So maybe start with the game with the bottom feeder at the top before moving it to the bottom. Um,
Hmm.
and seems like you had fun with the art for the bosses. What is it? Um,
So this guy is basically, I saw Sinistar and I'm like, I
yeah.
should copy that. And if you haven't seen Sinistar, he is a fairly terrifying Sinistar.
Oh,
It's this guy here who flies around and says very scary voice lines. He says,
beware I live.
"Beware, I live, I hunger," and so I thought that was a good design to riff on.
That's cool.
There was also another question by Caleb. One thing to think through is to only show players what they need to know at the exact moment they need to know it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
this
I was
requires
talking.
anticipation.
That's what I was talking to
Oh,
you about.
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. And
Um, but Viv has some notes too. Uh,
yes, cool presentation, some great info. Something personally that I enjoy about power ups and other things throughout a stage is how it changes things up for a little while. Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. It keeps things from being not as stagnant.
yeah, it's cool.
But I guess that will do it.
Awesome. Yeah, this has been fun, and I'm excited to see, things coming up for your new project. Let me kind of close the stream. There we go. And you know, I'm glad that you had a chance to kind of think more about your past project, Quadrant, and see how like you can improve upon it. You've definitely made those improvements, even just kind of going from one engine to the other, and getting a chance to kind of try some new mechanics and grab some feedback from folks. I even saw some of those feedbacks in your itch.io page, which is really cool. So yeah, it's awesome,
Hmm.
man. And I always think like when you're working on a game and you are approached with creating and redesigning something similar you've learned in the past, you can almost always be assured that it hopefully won't take as much work or as much time because you've learned from it. And like keep that in mind. That's why it's so important to create, is because you learn from it and you can take a different approach. And you might come across other obstacles that can kind of like change that cadence, but a lot of times it's almost always guaranteed, not always, but that you might approach it at a way that can be improved upon. Um, Shorten the time frame, make a better mechanic, and just for the fact that you've learned from it. So, um, one last question is, did you ever play with the screen size?
Um, I didn't. And I think it is something that is worthwhile to do, and especially I went with the vertical because it's like, hey, that's the way that Galaga was. But maybe it would have been better to actually take advantage of screens being horizontal and design it that way, so that way more real estate, more flexibility in where I could put UI and things, because it got pretty cramped.
Yeah. Well, and that was kind of the point is like some of those games were designed that way to kind of fill a kind of imposing you know, obstacle, like room of not being able to move left and right too much. You have to really focus on where you're going to be at any given time. But I think that's neat to think of it that way, is like you could change that, right? I mean, what
Hmm.
is a shooter game that's kind of up and down and it's just a very wide screen? I wonder what that would play like. Um, that actually might be more challenging. It's almost kind of like what I've seen in like Frogger, where you're kind of having to get across the pond, and it's you got to make sure you're getting on the far side of the street, on the other side of the street to make sure you're jumping on where you need to go to next.
Yeah.
But that could be kind of neat to play with too. To me, it seemed too short. You weren't lining up shots from the far away like other shooters, but everything was pretty slow, so maybe. Yeah. Well, try it out and let us know what you think, Pepperoni. So I think the devil's in the details in gameplay too, so I'd be interested
Hmm.
to see how that works too. Um, but cool, yeah, very awesome presentation. And if you get to the point you want to show off Lasso Lad, we'd love to see that too. So
Yes, I think once I get to my second boss, and also I fix up getting it working on mobile,
yeah,
that would be something I like to do.
cool. All right. Well, any other last minute notes that you want to talk to folks about? How they can follow you, contact you, learn more about what you're doing?
If you shout my name into the wind, I may answer. I mean, just if you attend other future meetings, you'll see me, and when I have more things to share. Um,
That is true. Yeah, we've seen you a lot of the prototype and plays and whatnot. So yeah, cool,
mhm.
awesome. Well, that sounds good. And yeah, we'll keep you guys posted on the progress, and we'll let you know if any news comes up. But otherwise, thanks for joining us. Appreciate the time, and we'll wrap up this meeting. So. Um, I'll go ahead and wrap up the call, but definitely if you guys are interested, if you want to talk to our presenters, those are able to make it. We're going to jump back into Discord for a couple minutes, and if you want to, you're more than welcome to join us in Discord. I'll go ahead and post that right now, um, and then we'll be around for just a little bit if you want to talk to me or talk to any other folks that want to jump around. It's just a casual networking thing. But thanks for coming by, everybody. We appreciate all your time and appreciate the patience with our bandwidth today. For some reason, we got a little gremlins today. But yeah, thanks for coming by. We'll catch you guys next time. Our next event is going to be October 10th at online in our Discord for right now. That's going to be a prototype and play, so that should be a lot of fun. But if nothing else, have a great rest of your weekend. We'll catch you guys later and talk to you next time. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.